Yes, we're looking at the Citadel of Chaos today. Now, this is not the reissue. I did think about looking for the reissue, but when I realised it was actually a reissue, I thought, let's not bother, let's go and see what we can get as far as the original is concerned. And I managed to get one of these. Now, until now, I've not actually owned any of the Fighting Fantasy books that had this particular design and livery and cover and so on and so forth, this particular series of it. But this is book 2, the second book ever released. The front cover artwork is a bit basic. It doesn't really do anything for me, to be honest. And you can see straight off that the book's a bit battered. It has certainly seen better days, but it's got some sort of covering over it, which definitely seems to have done the job of having protected it properly. I've no idea if that was done by the actual publishers or if that's something somebody else has done later, but that is definitely appreciated. And it also tells you the first 9 of the original series here. So we have the Warlock of Firetop Mountain, the Citadel of Chaos, the Forest of Doom, Starship Traveller, which is a book I've got, City of Thieves, which I don't have, I think, Deathtrap Dungeon, which I don't think I have either. Or do I? Are those some of the books that... Yes, City of Thieves is one of the ones I do have from the reissue, as is the Forest of Doom. Yeah, where was I? Deathtrap Dungeon, don't have that. Island of the Lizard King, I do have that. Scorpion Swamp, nope. Caverns of the Snow Witch, I think I've played it, but I don't own it. Port story, port game. This is a book in which you become the hero. The Citadel of Chaos holds a dark and dangerous peril for anyone foolhardy enough to venture through its gruesome gates. And yet, venture you must, for your mission lies at the heart of the Citadel, with the dread sorcerer, Balthus Dyer. I have no idea if I'm pronouncing that right. 2 dice, a pencil and an eraser are all you need to make your journey. You decide which route to take, which monsters to fight, and where to use your special knowledge of the magic arts. Did you ever really get a chance to choose which monsters you did or didn't actually fight here? I'm just gonna, I seem to remember it not really being an option. You basically came into an area and that was it. Now, the reason I took the book away out of shop there for a second then was because I was just looking at this bit here that I was using as a bookmark, badly. This is actually the invoice. Unlike some of the books that I've ordered online, this one actually had an invoice with it, and actually, quite sensibly, was tucked into the book itself, which made it, a good bit of sense compared to how I've seen them done in the past, where they've just been, just left outside like that and potentially get damaged. Not that it really matters, but it's nice to have that safe in some regard. Citadel of Chaos, illustrated by Russ Nicholson. Let's actually give credit where credit is due, and this is one of the puff and print versions. And it actually gives you a contents. You'll notice that the pages don't seem to be that yellowed. Okay, you've got some indentations. That's probably where somebody's been pushing down on it or something, or holding it really forcefully or something with their fingers like that. It's the only way I can think that it's happened, but it's surprisingly un-yellow apart from obviously on the edges there, which is inevitable, I'm afraid, in the case of all books. How to fight creatures within the Citadel. Bit of information about who you are and whatnot. References to the Warlock of Firetop Mountain, and that you must set your skill and stamina scores, as well as your luck. So how you do all of that and so on and so forth is all described here, as is how to fight. Okay, the sequence that you follow and so on and so forth. Fighting one or more creature, escaping. On some pages you may be given the option of running away from a battle should things be going badly for you. However, if you do run away, the creature automatically gets in 1 wound on you. Subtract 2 stamina points as you flee. Such is the price of cowardice. Well, discretion is the better part of valour. Note that you may use luck on this wound in a normal way. You may only escape if that option is specifically given to you on that page. So yeah, I can't recall it being used in many of the systems. I can actually recall now that yes, it has been used in other games that I've played before, but you've got luck and how to use it and how to restore skill, stamina and luck and so on and so forth. How to use magic, and then your magic spells. creature copy, ESP, fire, fool's gold, illusion, levitation, luck, shielding, skill, stamina, strength and weakness. This basically gives you all the instructions on how to use it. Let's see. Each time during the adventure that you use a spell, you must cross it off your list, even if it's not effective. If you've taken more than one of any spell, you must reduce the remainder available by 1 each time you use it. You will sometimes be given the option to use spells and find that you have not got them with you or have used them all up. In this case, you must not use those options. So yeah, you have certain limitations. So here we go. Roll 2 dice to decide how many magic points you're going to have. Add 6 to the number rolled and enter this total in the magic box on your adventure sheet. Your magic score determines how many magic spells you may use during your quest. These spells may be chosen from the list following this section. Enter your choices in the magic spell box, and so on and so forth. It then tells you that you might like to take 3 stamina spells, 5 ESP spells, and 5 fire spells, and so on and so forth. So, you know, if you use 1 fire spell once, you might still have 4 remaining at the end of the book, which is actually quite a good idea. I seem to remember the other books where you've had just a 1-use spell only. You can only use it once, and that's partly because in that gameplay you were just being taught the spell by a wizard and therefore hadn't had years and years and years to develop any kind of affinity for magic. It was just one-off use only and so on. But this is obviously experimenting and early days and so on. Now this is pretty much the standard adventure sheet, so I don't think I need to go into much detail here. Bloody hell, these dice rolls were terrible. Skill, stamina and luck. 1, 3 and 1. They haven't decided to put any magic points in whatsoever. I get the feeling whoever was playing this either didn't care for that or just decided to go in god mode and just win all the time. They probably didn't roll any dice in any way, shape or form, they just won the battles. And then you got the history of the place. The lawful good folk of the Vale of Willow have lived for some 8 years in awe and fear of the demi-sorcerer Balthus Dire. In awe, since his power is truly awesome, and in fear, ever since word leaked from his domain that his ambitious plans of conquest were to commence with the Vale itself. A faithful half-elf sent on a spying mission to the Black Tower came galloping back to the Vale 3 days ago with a frantic warning. From within the caverns of Kragan Rock, Balthus Dire had recruited an army of chaotics and was preparing them to attack the Vale within the week. I wonder if the chaotics are possibly some sort of prelude to the forces of chaos in Space Crusade and Warhammer and so on and so forth. Warhammer 4K and so on. Yeah, I'm mentioning Space Crusade first because that's what I played. I didn't actually play the games that it was based on. But interesting all the same. The good King Solomon was a man of action. Messengers were sent throughout the Vale that day to prepare defences and to summon the menfolk to action. Riders had also been sent to the great forest of Yore to warn the half-elves that lived there and to make an appeal for allied forces. Somebody actually set up an entire habitat full of half-elves. Something's going on there. Something rather sinister. King Solomon was also a wise man. He knew well that the news would inevitably reach the Grand Wizard of Yore, a white sorcerer of great power who lived deep within the forest. The wizard was old and would not last through a battle of this magnitude, but he schooled a number of young magicians, and perhaps one of his students in the magic arts, with courage and ambition, would aid the king and his subjects. Well, why not get all of them? You are the star pupil of the Grand Wizard of Yore. He has been a difficult master, and your own impatience has often got the better of you. Perhaps a little too headstrong, you left immediately for Solomon's court, with no help whatsoever. The king welcomed you enthusiastically and explained his plan. The battle could be avoided without bloodshed if Balthus was to be assassinated before his army could be amassed. The mission ahead of you is extremely perilous. Balthus Dire is surrounded in a citadel by a multitude of appalling creatures. Although magic is your strongest weapon, there will be times when you must rely on your sword to survive. King Solomon has briefed you on your mission and warned you of the dangers that lie ahead. One way through the Citadel is the best for you to take. If you discover it, you'll be successful with a minimum of personal risk. It may take you several trips to find the easiest way through. You leave the Vale of Willow on the long hike to the Black Tower. At the foot of the hill of Crag and Rock, you can see its outline against the dark sky. And here we have the first of the artwork. And I gotta be honest, I'm not really feeling the artwork here. It does tend to vary a little bit in quality and even style. Sometimes the bigger pictures, they can look really detailed like this, and others can just be lacking detail and even take on a sort of almost childish quality compared to the rest of the artwork. And they've all got captions for some reason. At least it also gives you the paragraph number that it relates to, which is actually a nice touch in some regard. You know, so you can easily look back and forth and tell exactly what is what. And here's one of the things I mean, the lack of detail on that. Okay, there's minimalism, but it just feels incredibly flat and lifeless in many regards. At least you've got some idea that there's some other way to get to that treasure chest. And then you've got this particular creature here. I'm not going to accuse the artist of being lazy or anything like this. It's just, I'm not digging the style. It doesn't really flow for me. It doesn't do much. And then, you know, especially the lack of detail here. So sometimes it really does hit them all quite nicely, but come on. If this is supposed to be inside some cavern, if anybody has ever been inside a cave or a mine or anything like that, there is detail that you would see in the walls. That's just completely sorely missed there. And that's a bit of a sad thing, really. But, and again here, these walls have no detail to them. I mean, given the state of the rest of the room, you would think those walls would be dirty and whatnot because of the nature of what those creatures are like. You know, if the rest of the room is that messy, then everything else should be messy as well. And now in some cases here, I kind of wonder if this is deliberately intentional. I think it's intentional, but you'll notice that the stone work here, in some cases the lines are a lot more jagged and whatnot, and as if though either they've not bothered to draw the lines straight, or it's deliberately done like that to emphasise how it basically might be damaged or have things pushed against it. But the lack of detail again just doesn't sell it for me. Then you got this section here which is in shade, and you can see where they've gone the extra mile, putting darker elements in and actually putting more detail in. Why not do that against the, you know, the rest of the wall? Is there supposed to be some light that is so brilliantly bright that it just destroys all detail as far as your eyes are concerned? A woman apparently washing clothes in a stream inside a cave. Nothing bad can possibly come of that. Nothing at all. It's bound to be perfectly innocent. A rhino guard type thing? That is a bit on the bizarre side, isn't it? Let's be brutally honest here. That is bizarre. That is just, could be drawn a bit better as well, but that's just my take there. I kind of like this one. Poking your head around the door, you can see rows and rows and racks full of bottles, but no mention of the actual creature standing right in front of you. But I do like the attention to detail on that creature. That does stand out a lot more for me, and the attention to detail and everything else, for once, works for me, which does make me wonder, was the artist maybe going through the true map of the game? You know, the route that you have to take, and then just drawing each image as he came across it and just lost interest as he went along, and then everything got obviously jumbled around a bit. I don't know. A tentacle monster. If you are a Japanese schoolgirl, you might want to look away or run. Yeah, run. Better. That, you know, might do things a bit. Things might go better for you if you run. Here we have a long table, large enough to seat 40 or 50 people, right in the centre of the room, and that is bloody enormous. All right. Let's just see if we can count the chairs. No, I don't think we can, because it just all sort of merges into one there. Very well done. Although I do kind of question if that's the image you would really get reflected that way. It just seems a bit off there. Is that a decapitated head flying around unaided? Or is it somebody who's poking their heads through a pair of really, really dark black curtains. We may never know. We've got another room that has a lot of detail in some regards, but completely lacking any detail on the walls, floor and ceiling. But still looks kind of interesting. Another room with very little detail apart from the chairs and the guy in it. It must be a stylistic choice, it has to be. It's just not a stylistic choice that I care for. And here we have a man that appears to have very little in the way of teeth and nothing in the way of eyes. Which is a shame because that means he can't see the detail that is going on in the rest of the room, in the drawing that he's in. Oh, imagine the make-up sex after they've had arguments. No, don't imagine the make-up sex because it basically involves something I'm not going to talk about. Although it might involve a visit to Madame Plum, which is exactly what I was talking about, but you probably figured that out. And if you hadn't figured it out, and you've only just figured out what Madame Plum is about, then yeah, you're welcome. I'm going to assume that she has the world's most flexible, elongated, rubber neck. And that's the only way she could spin her body around like that, keep her head straight and fly and not kill herself. Unless of course she's using magic, but hey. Troll creature maybe? Yeah, gotta be a troll. Your torch lights up a large creature, seemingly made of rock itself, standing by the door. Yeah, that must be one hell of a bright torch you've got if it can illuminate. Given this would literally be, you know, one of those things that you see Indiana Jones running around with, you know, a shaft of wood with some gasoline-soaked turps that are on fire. That must be giving off one hell of a light, brighter than the sun. If there was any vampires in the area, that would probably kill them. I'm not entirely sure what's going on here. It looks like some kind of warrior and another warrior who's seen better days. Apparently they're arguing loudly about the price of a dagger, so is one of them a merchant? Couldn't say at this point. I have no idea what they are. I'm assuming possibly some sort of little goblin thing, but it's so gangly. Some variation of pixie maybe? Somebody's version of an elf? Who knows? I certainly can't say at this point, because I haven't read anything. Hello, the room is an elegant bedchamber, plushly decorated with fine lace and a fur carpet. And there's a woman in the bed that you haven't told us about. Could this be a bit of seduction? As you enter the room, the creature creaks as its head turns towards you. Kind of looks like a gargoyle, or rather a grotesque, because that's the proper term for it. A golem is actually, not a golem, a gargoyle is actually the actual artistic monster like covering over the spout of a drainage system, whereas a grotesque is just a statue, but the term gargoyle nowadays refers to those as well. A golem, on the other hand, is a creature that is made out of stone and rock and whatnot, and is basically a slave and just whatever you tell it if you're its owner. Okay, somebody was what the hell is that supposed to be? Humpty Dumpty flattened after a steamroller incident and then cloned horribly? And what the hell is going on with that torch? What? That explains a lot. If that is the standard of the torches in this game, that explains why everything seems so washed out. Good God, what are they using to, what fuel are they using to cover those rags that are going over the edges? And you must have one hell of a suntan. Seriously, if it's looking like that much, oh God, why did it have to be snakes? Monstrous, horrible snakes, oh God, and dead bodies and whatnot. And turn the page, turn the page, turn the page. What is this? By the clicking of the... No, it's not the witches, it's seems to be an old man. And at least two creatures of some sort, one of which might be a goblin, I'm not sure. Are these people that you can fight? Yes, you've got options to sit down with them around the fire, or ask if you may join them. Asking might be a good idea. Do we have any drawings left? Oh yes, now this is detail. This is arguably the best picture in the book, at least so far. I mean, look at the detail here. You've got this rather muscular frame on whatever this creature is. One eye opens, then another, and seeing you, the creature springs to its feet. And just look at the detail that everything's gone on. This is obviously some sort of wooden cabin here. That might be the door there. Some sort of stand, you know, pegs and whatnot to put various things on. Some kind of axe, I think, that it's holding there, and then what looks like it potentially a chopping board, so this could be more than likely outside somebody's house, but I think that looks like blood splatter there. That ain't a pleasant thought. And then back to the sort of slightly lackluster artwork. And then whatever this is. It's a strange mix, the artwork, isn't it? It's just... sometimes it's really detailed, sometimes it's got very little detail, sometimes it's got a strange combination of both. I just don't get it, and I think that is literally the second last picture. And then we've got this... yeah. A large open sewer flowing across the passageway. Well, yeah, I'm just not loving the artwork, which is a shame, because the artwork is always something that, to my mind, helps draw you in a bit more to encourage you to keep going, and possibly even influence you, especially this sort of book would have influenced me, because I was always, as a kid, I was always into writing and drawing, so using these sort of books gave me the best of both worlds. It gave me something to read, something to look at as far as drawings were concerned, to influence my own drawing style and so on. But this, okay, sometimes the artwork does it for me, sometimes it doesn't. The cover just seems a bit lacking, because it's early days. What does the actual imprint details say again here? First published in 1983, reprinted at least 5 times in 1984, so there's probably the 5th imprint from 1984. So yeah, they could have came with a better cover art than that, but that said, I don't know what the original cover art was. This could very well be it. And I haven't actually reviewed the text and everything. That will obviously come after I have done a Let's Read. So, let me know what your thoughts were. What did you think of this book if you've already read it? What do you think of the artwork and so on and so forth? And give me some suggestions as well as to what you would like to see. If there's any really good books that perhaps I haven't done, that I haven't looked at, that I haven't got, that I haven't read through, perhaps you can recommend something, because I am looking at collecting these in more detail and playing through them to the fullest. May your stamina never fail.